Petra is often called the Rose-Red City, half as old as time. Hidden in southern Jordan, this ancient wonder was once a thriving hub of culture, commerce, and religion, and yet, for centuries, it was completely unknown to the outside world, forgotten, abandoned, and cloaked in mystery until its rediscovery in the 19th century. So what is Petra? And why was it forgotten? Petra lies in southern Jordan, nestled between rugged mountains and desert valleys. Its location was no accident. The Nabataeans, the Arab people who built Petra, deliberately chose this site because of its natural defenses. The surrounding mountains shielded the valley, while the only real entrance was through the Siq, a winding passage more than a mile long. This made Petra nearly impossible for invading armies to attack. At the same time, the site was located at the intersection of important caravan trade routes. From Petra, merchants could travel north to Syria, west to Egypt, east to Mesopotamia, or south into Arabia. It was both a fortress and a gateway. But there was one more reason Petra's location was extraordinary: water. Although the surrounding region is arid, the Nabataeans developed ingenious systems to harvest and store rainwater. The Nabataeans were an Arab people who began as nomadic tribes. They roamed the deserts of Arabia, but by the 4th century BCE, they had settled in Petra. Unlike their neighbors, the Nabataeans weren't obsessed with conquering empires. Instead, they specialized in survival and trade. Their greatest strength was adaptability. They could negotiate with powerful neighbors like Egypt, Greece, and Rome, while still maintaining their independence for centuries. If you visit Petra today, the first thing you'll notice is the scale. The Nabataeans carved entire buildings into the rock. The Treasury is the most famous. Standing nearly 130 feet tall, its ornate facade was carved directly into the cliff face around the 1st century CE. For centuries, locals believed it held hidden treasures, hence the name. But archaeologists now believe it was likely a royal tomb. Another masterpiece is the Monastery, or Adir. Larger but less decorated than the Treasury, it required climbing over 800 steps carved into the rock to reach it. At its base is a wide plaza, suggesting it was a place for large gatherings or rituals. Beyond these monuments, Petra contains tombs, temples, a theater that seated thousands, and even an advanced water system. The Nabataeans built aqueducts, reservoirs, and dams to capture and distribute precious water. This engineering brilliance allowed Petra to thrive in a desert environment where few others could. Petra's success was built on trade. Located along the incense route, it became a crossroads for luxury goods flowing between Arabia, the Mediterranean, and Asia. Caravans carried frankincense and myrrh from southern Arabia, silk and spices from the Far East, ivory from Africa, and precious metals from Egypt. The Nabataeans became wealthy middlemen, taxing caravans and offering safe passage through the desert. This trade wealth financed Petra's monumental architecture. It also gave the Nabataeans political leverage. Unlike many desert tribes, they weren't dependent on outside powers. Instead, outside powers depended on them. For centuries, Petra flourished as one of the richest cities in the region. But no civilization lasts forever. By the 1st century CE, the Roman Empire was expanding. In 106 CE, Emperor Trajan formally annexed the Nabataean kingdom into the Roman province of Arabia Petraea. Petra remained important, but over time, its independence faded. Roman rule shifted trade routes away from Petra, directing goods toward ports like Alexandria. Then came natural disasters. Earthquakes in 363 and 551 CE damaged Petra's water system and monuments. Without its trade network or infrastructure, the city began to decline. By the 7th century, Petra was largely abandoned. Local Bedouins lived in and around the ruins, but to the outside world, Petra had vanished. For centuries, rumors persisted of a great city hidden in the deserts of Arabia. But it wasn't until 1812 that the Western world rediscovered Petra. That year, Johann Ludwig Burckhardt, a Swiss explorer traveling through the Middle East, heard whispers of ruins guarded by local tribes. Disguised as a Muslim pilgrim, he convinced Bedouin guides to take him through the sick. When he emerged into the valley and saw the Treasury's facade, he realized he had found something extraordinary. Burckhardt's accounts spread through Europe, sparking a wave of interest. So adventurers and scholars and artists began traveling to Petra, and soon it became one of the most celebrated archaeological discoveries of the 19th century. But how could such a magnificent city be lost in the first place? There are three key reasons. First, geography. Petra was hidden deep in the desert, accessible only through narrow canyons. Once abandoned, it was nearly impossible for outsiders to stumble upon. Second, economic decline. With trade routes shifting away and the water system damaged, Petra no longer had the wealth or population to sustain itself. It simply faded into obscurity. And third, secrecy. The local Bedouin tribes who lived near Petra knew of the ruins but kept them hidden from outsiders. They feared looting and wanted to protect what they believed were sacred tombs. Together, these factors meant Petra was forgotten by the outside world for nearly 1,000 years. Today, Petra is anything but forgotten. In 1985, it was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and in 2007, it was named one of the new 7 wonders of the world. Tourists from around the globe flock to walk the sick, marvel at the Treasury, and climb to the Monastery. Archaeologists continue to study Petra, uncovering hidden chambers and structures buried beneath the sand. And Petra has also captured the popular imagination. It appeared in films like Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade, introducing the lost city to a new generation. But more than just a tourist attraction, Petra stands as a testament to the ingenuity of the Nabataeans. It reminds us that even in the harshest environments, human creativity can flourish. Petra's story is one of brilliance and resilience. From a desert valley, the Nabataeans carved a city that became the envy of the ancient world. Its monuments tell the story of wealth, culture, and ambition. Yet, like so many civilizations, Petra eventually declined, abandoned to time, left to the sands of history. For centuries, it was forgotten, until chance rediscovery brought it back into the light. Today, Petra is no longer hidden. It is celebrated as one of humanity's greatest achievements, a city carved from living rock that still takes our breath away. So why was Petra forgotten? Because time, nature, and human change conspired to hide it. And why does Petra still matter? Because it shows us that even the most forgotten places can one day speak again, their stories carved in stone. This was Petra, the forgotten city of stone. If you enjoyed uncovering the story of Petra, the forgotten city, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and explore more of our travel history series. History is full of lost places waiting to be rediscovered, and we'll take you there.